to go through today is to talk about how the systems that we use to manage IT, and what are the real problems in managing, the real-world management problems. And I want to address this in terms of visibility, control, and optimization. And you're going to hear me come back to those three words often throughout my presentation. And then I want to introduce a new idea, this command and control center concept. What is it, why you would need one, and what are your options for getting a command and control center for IT? Well, what are some of the real-world management problems? Have you ever been surprised by something of significance, or received inconsistent information, or perhaps you're being told that everything is okay only to later find out otherwise? And I think most folks that I pose these questions to, they say, yes, I'm surprised. Yes, I'm getting inconsistent information. And yes, I'm told everything's okay, and later it's not okay. So how do we really know what's going on? How do we know if we are going to be successful in our activities in our IT organizations? Well, why is this so that we don't always know what's going on, or we don't always avoid the surprises? We get surprised. Well, let's just look at it from technology. And there was a time before ATMs and cell phones and supermarket scanners. And if you just look at our world and the world that you interact with on a day-to-day basis, it is so changed by technology. But if you look at how we manage has fundamentally not changed, and it's built on concepts of people that were born in the 1800s. So the management model in most organizations has its roots back to the early 20th century, and specifically how we manage things fundamentally hasn't changed. Well, given that, imagine if you knew what was in need of attention, and imagine if you could apply the knowledge of your best people. So oftentimes there's pockets, there's people who know how to do something excellent, and there's other people that know how to do something excellent in another area. So how can we share that knowledge between those individuals? How can we share that across project teams, organization structures? So imagine if we could do that for the moment. And imagine if all the activities were visible in a central repository, that we didn't have to go to many different places to find out the answers. If we could go to a central repository, an electronic repository, to find out. And what if we had all the data needed to make decisions? We pose these things to ourselves with this very powerful word, imagine, and we set that as a future. Well, let's go back to look at how things are managed. And if we look at individual knowledge and people that are working on activities, and as these people work on activities, they work within their own constraints, they work within their own knowledge, their own skills, their experience that they've come across, and they work on these activities. Well, the traditional management says we're going to assemble these people into management cells, and either a manager is going to manage a group of individuals or a group of other cells of managers, and they're all going to work on their activities. But still, we're working within the confines of what those individuals or what the collective management cell knows. So are we following our best practices, industry best practices, my organization's best practices? Are we applying the expert knowledge? Are we leveraging? Are we accomplishing what we wanted to accomplish with that big, bold, imagined statements? Well, can we improve upon the management structure, the management hierarchy, to give us visibility, control, and governance that we seek? Well, how can we leverage knowledge? Well, we have two different knowledge repositories. And one of those knowledge repositories on the left-hand side there, this is knowledge that collectively my organization has. So this is another team in my organization. Maybe it's my team in my organization, but we have some greatness. How do we share that? How do we take that organizational knowledge and assure that it's shared amongst everybody? and that there's quality assurance that's verifying that this is actually occurring. And then there's this external, experts, consultants, best practices, maybe some things that you get from ITMPI.org or from the industry at large or PMI or book knowledge. How do we share that with the groups and organizations in our management cell structures? So that's, if we can do that, we're really leveraging that knowledge and we're making everybody perform at the collective best that we have in our organization and as the industry knows. But what we're here to talk about today is a command and control center. And let me jump into what is a command and control center? Well, the command and control center would be a place that I could have control, visibility, communications, and the governance to provide a world-class oversight for all projects, for all activities. Can I get to the point where with this command and control center where I know what is really happening with everybody on the same page, with timely dashboards, even getting from the stakeholders. And oftentimes what we found in our research is when activities go awry or things become challenged, somebody somewhere always knew. When you do the post-mortem, somebody said, gee, I knew that. So one of the key things we found from a visibility and communication standpoint is that we survey the stakeholders. So part of building a command and control center is actually talking to these people up front to find out what they know and to learn from them, as opposed to finding out at the tail end to uncover why did this not go the way we wanted? Why were we not on time, on budget? Why didn't we meet need? So we want to find this out ahead of time and make it very, very visible in our communications. The Command and Control Center also has quality assurance and best practice reviews, and key to this is the early risk identification. Again, we're not trying to find out why were we not successful, why were our projects or our activities challenged. We want to uncover risk factors and predict our success and head that off and change our path perhaps if we do see it going not the way we would like it to go. And it's going to answer the questions by having a command and control center. Where am I? What are my chances of success? And knowing what your chances of success are and knowing what the factors contributing to your success, you can then change the outcome because you're not looking backwards, you're looking forward. Well, why should someone have one? Why should an IT organization have a command and control center? Well, we've observed that if you have periodic reviews and oversights by experts with the right knowledge, and you apply proven processes that are actually enforced. This is not book knowledge, this is not books sitting on a shelf collecting dust, but actually implemented in the organization. We have found that you will get the visibility, the control, the governance that you seek by having these things in place. So there seems like there could be a lot of value in the desired outcomes from a control, governance, visibility standpoint, that we're going to increase our likeliness of success by getting that early operational insight to enable the risk mitigation and have that effective project control. And in conforming to our best practices, we're going to see improved performance and productivity. And at the end, I'll share with you some numbers of what we have found in increases in productivity by implementing a command and control center. We'll get to know the true status. We'll know what the performance metrics, how we're performing against our KPIs. And again, surveying of the stakeholders and the participants. And also desired here, it's more of a technique and an approach, but to do it in an automated